For the writing portfolio assignment, you will compile your first submitted drafts of each genre of literary writing completed this term. Then you will summarize feedback from partners and the instructor and will provide revised versions of your work. Finally, you will reflect on how you incorporated the feedback from your classmates and instructor as you revised your work. You will need to do this by downloading the writing portfolio document and completing all parts. You'll notice that the writing portfolio document is divided into 3 sections. One section for short story, one for poetry, and one for creative nonfiction. Each one looks pretty similar. So you will first and foremost copy and paste the original short story, poetries, and your creative nonfiction for number 1 of each section. Then in question 2 for each section, you will summarize the feedback from your first classmates, from your peer reviews, your feedback, your short story and feedback, poetry and feedback, and creative nonfiction and feedback assignments. Then you will summarize the feedback from a second classmate. Then you will summarize the feedback you received from me, your instructor. From there, you will copy and paste revised versions of your writing. So you will do one for your short story, you will do all 3 of your poems, and then one for your creative nonfiction. For each of these, you are going to highlight in green all content that has been added. So if you add in a whole new scene to your short story, or whole new lines to your free verse or prose poem, or a whole section to your creative nonfiction, you will highlight that in green. In yellow, you are going to highlight parts of your story or poems or creative nonfiction that you have worked on the wording in relation to clarity, style, tone, any of those sorts of things. Then for number 6, you're going to write a reflection explaining how you use the feedback from your peers and from me to make changes to your story, your poems, and your creative nonfiction. So while right now this only looks like a little 1-page thing, it's a pretty hefty assignment because it's requiring you not only to include your feedback from me and your peers in your revisions, you're then having to explain how you decided to incorporate those changes, and you're actually making the changes. One thing I really want to point out to you here is it says summarize the feedback from classmate 1, summarize the feedback from classmate 2, summarize the feedback from Professor Faulkner. It does not say copy and paste, which means I expect you to put the feedback that you received in your own words. That is going to be important when I am grading, that you have worked to interpret what was said to you and place it in your own words. Now, as for how to revise, I provided you a couple of resources in your textbook. There's a section called A Few Words About Revision that might help you. I provided you a link to a web page that talks about revising and editing, and then I've also provided a video to you. I encourage you to have a look at all of those. As a reminder, the late policy for the course, for assignments worth 10 points or more, you do have a 24-hour grace period with no penalty if it's submitted late. And if it's past that 24 hours and you still want to submit, there's a 50% penalty for the next 48 hours. So you have a full 72 hours where late work will still be accepted. I'd also like to remind you of the academic integrity policy, which I think you're quite familiar with at this point. But if you are found to have made a choice that is in violation of academic integrity on a first offense, you will get a 0 on the assignment, on a second, an F in the course. The final thing I want to show you is the grading rubric. So I've broken this down for the various things. So 2 points will go for original versions of the work. So you earn 2 points just for copying and pasting your original short story, your original poetry, and your original creative nonfiction. Then the next 2 points are earned through your summaries of feedback. Here, I want to see that you have summarized in your own words all of the feedback that was provided to you. After that, you can earn 5 points for your revision of your short story, 5 points, or 2 points on your reflection about how you revised your short story. Then you can earn another 5 points on your revision of your poetry for your 3 poems. Then you can earn 2 points for your reflection on your revision of poetry. And then finally, you can earn 5 points on your revision of your creative nonfiction and 2 points on your reflection of that revision of your creative nonfiction. So I wanted to go ahead and get this information out to you so that you can see what's expected of you and you understand what is happening with this assignment. If you have questions or you need help, please let me know.